You find yourself in the starring role? I think we all have. Have you ever asked yourself why? As you looked at the shattered remains of your plans and your dreams, again, I believe all of us can say that we have. Today I want to show you through the life and witness of a man by the name of Joseph that there's a better alternative than asking the question why. For in this narrative, we're going to see all of his dreams fall into a million pieces at his feet, as well as examine his life to see what makes it worthy of modeling. Because I believe his example can help you and I when our dreams are shattered. So I want to talk about what to do when your dream becomes a nightmare. When your dream becomes a nightmare. I want to begin by sharing with you the manners and customs of the people in the times of ancient scripture regarding the ritual of marriage. For in biblical times, parents arranged marriages for their sons and daughters. Young people normally did not decide whom they would marry. So very unlike Western traditions and customs. In their day and time, it was marriage first and hopefully love later. Now, this practice of arranging marriages didn't mean that the parents did not take into consideration the feelings of their children, or that love did not sometimes happen even before the marriage. But it does say that there was a great deal more will than romance through these arrangements. Now, strange as it may seem to us, this custom tended to produce a more stable pattern of marriage, even than what we see today in our society. It was also the practice of a friend, that's in quotations, a friend of the bridegroom. This individual held the responsibility to negotiate on behalf of the prospective bridegroom and his father with a representative of the bride's father. And those negotiations were to secure arrangements for work compensation that had to be paid to the woman's family, as well as the securing of a dowry that was paid to the bride's father. Also was the custom that the part of the dowry would be woven into a circlet of coins, 10 in number, that the woman would wear around her head. It was almost symbolic, kind of like an engagement or wedding ring. You remember in the parable of Luke of the lost coin, when the woman lost one of the coins and swept the house diligently. She was looking for it. She had lost one of those coins from her headdress. Now, once the arrangement was made to marry, there was a betrothal, which was actually more binding than engagements are in our society. You know, people get engaged and, you know, you meet them today, this is my fiance, and And then next week, they ain't thinking about them anymore. People always claiming fiancés. But this betrothal, listen, this betrothal lasted about 12 months. And during those 12 months, you couldn't break it except through legal action, like a legal divorce. Once those negotiations had been made, and the dowry was going to be paid, you just couldn't say, I ain't feeling him anymore, I'm not feeling her. Didn't work like that. So during the 12 months, the groom would be preparing the home. He would be building the house. And then the bride would be working on her dress. And the family would be getting ready for the what do we call them now? After you get married, where you go and they eat? No, the reception, yeah. Yeah, what time is it? So anyway, that's how it worked. And so in the text, we read the fact that there was a betrothal of Mary to Joseph. So all of this stuff had been happening. So she was making her dress, and her family was, planning this meal for the reception that was going to last. It wasn't one day. It would be a long time. They would party. They would have a good party. And Joseph is trying to build his house. And so, it was a time of excitement for them, and they would betroth to one another, and I'm sure they were excited thinking about the future that they were going to have together as husband and wife. And they probably were, we can venture to guess that they were counting the days until they could be together and live together. They didn't live together. They didn't live together. I'm just saying. They're counting the days when they could live together as husband and wife. He stayed at his folk. She stayed with her parents, working on her dress. He building his house. Everything was just working out just fine. Everything was just flowing according to schedule, so it seemed. But however, you've read it, during this betrothal period, there was a shattering discovery made that turned those dreams into a nightmare. For Social Mores said that during this betrothal period, the bride and the groom were to keep themselves physically pure for the other spouse. Like I said, they weren't living together and sneaking off. They wasn't doing any of that. But during this time, Joseph discovered that his bride-to-be is pregnant. It goes without saying, y'all done read this, that it would have been a great source of embarrassment both to Joseph and Mary, as well as to their prospective families, or respective families. This meant that all of the dreams that Joseph had for the future had been shattered by this news. But isn't that how life is? Life can be like that at times. What are you talking about? I'm talking about when you make all of your plans. When you set up things just the way you want them to be. It's all flowing well, and then some event takes place. And we see our hopes and our plans and our dreams come crashing down all around us. Heartbroken and devastated are just a few words to describe our feelings as our dreams become nightmares. And like Joseph, in those times, we are blind to the fact that God is at work behind the scenes. In fact, in those times, in those very times that we're looking for God, believing that he's absent, when actually it's God who shattered our dreams. That may be hard to understand, but that's still how he works. I come to tell you, see, our God works his will in our lives in ways that we cannot begin to comprehend. I heard him say in Isaiah, my thoughts are not your thoughts, and neither are my ways your ways. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. For his plans for us are rarely what we would plan for ourselves. But his plans are always the best. They're the best even when they hurt us. Paul reminded us in Romans 8:28, and we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose.